This is CBC Here and Now.
Had challenges from the beginning, but I think unfortunately the February 12th incident was one that we weren't able to overcome.
One dockyard's loss is another's gain. The government terminates dockyard contract in Clarenville.
To actually have a private entity have to ask a public body to follow the law is absurd.
A biotech company takes its concerns to court. Sequence Bio says it can't get ahead.
And it says patients in this province are being kept out of life-saving clinical trials. Good evening, I'm Debbie Cooper.
And I'm Anthony Germain. There's a new chapter today in the troubled saga of the MV Gallipoli refit, and it's a big blow for the Clarenville area, including one of its major employers.
But a boost for a competitor in St. John's, and more waiting for ferry users in Ramea and Grey River.
Terry Roberts has been following this story for the past 3 months, and he joins us live now from St. John's Harbour with the very latest. Terry.
Yeah, Anthony, well, many saw it coming, and today it became a reality. Transportation Minister Steve Crocker confirmed that the provincial government is stripping a contract from Burry Shipyard in Clarenville and putting the very future of that yard and dozens of jobs in jeopardy and creating a boost for this St. John's yard behind me.
It all goes back to this incident in midwinter. The Gallipoli was being moved back into the water on a specialized marine railway cradle. That cradle partially collapsed with the vessel stalled at the water's edge. The project has been in limbo ever since, until today.
We've ended that contract with Burry's.
Senior officials with the department and independent experts recommended that the vessel be taken from Burry's.
The recertification of the lift is not something that we had a certainty about, and we didn't want to find ourselves in a situation 3 or 4 weeks from now where the lift wasn't repaired and we weren't able to get the vessel back on dry dock.
It will now go to New Dock in St. John's, putting an end to weeks of uncertainty, with the bills mounting. Government has already spent nearly $3 million, with another $1.5 million budgeted for this year.
It had challenges from the beginning, but I think unfortunately the February 12th incident was one that we weren't able to overcome.
The Gallipoli serves the Ramea Grey River Burgeo ferry run. It's provided a vital link in this area for many years, but it's been out of service since last September and is not expected back on the run until the fall, months behind schedule. Crocker says any costs associated with the February incident will be covered by insurance.
We're going to do everything we can possibly do to get the vessel back in as quickly as possible.
Now, this is a big blow to Burry's, both financially and to its reputation. I've spoken to people in the marine industry who say that an incident like this is the equivalent to, say, in the restaurant business, of having rats running around on your property. Now, I was unable to reach owner Glenn Burry today, but the MHA for Terra Nova, Colin Holloway, says this could very well lead to the outright closure of Burry Shipyard, although the owner is now out of the province looking for new business for that yard. Now, the government is not about to end its relationship with Burry's, however. Steve Crocker today says that more government contracts could be awarded to that Clarenville shipyard once the yard gets its slipway and all of its infrastructure up to par. Reporting live for Here and Now, I'm Terry Roberts in St. John's.
A St. John's biotech company is mounting a campaign to challenge the body that decides what health research is done in this province. Sequence Bio says it's learned that many researchers believe the Health Research Ethics Board is failing to do its job properly. As Mark Quinn reports, leaders with the biotech company are calling on the province's health minister to step in and make changes.
Sequence Bio's Chris Gardner is clearly frustrated.
The Health and Research Ethics Authority is hurting the people of this province.
The biotech company wants to take a hard look at the genetic makeup of people in this province and hopefully find new ways to treat common illnesses. For 5 years, it's been gearing up to do that, but so far, both its research applications to the provincial ethics board that approves health research have been rejected. Gardner says his company isn't the problem, the board is.
Is preventing access to cutting-edge treatments and clinical trials, is evaporating research opportunities in an important industry, and they're unfairly making decisions on ethical research.
Today, Sequence Bio has released dozens of documents, letters and emails from members of the province's research community. Documents the company says support its claim that the board is unfairly rejecting applications of many researchers in this province.
I think they're frustrated with the process, and I have heard that.
The company is calling on the Health Minister, John Haggie, to step in and replace the board with another independent group. But Haggie says he's not ready to do that.
I don't know what the problem is specifically. And until then, I can't really get staff to advise me on what the options are for solutions. So I'm sorry to sound vague, but, this binder's arrived and it needs to be looked at.
Sequence Bio believes that when Haggie takes a hard look at these documents, the provincial government will be compelled to act. It wants the current board replaced with a new one. It says the company's future depends on it. Mark Quinn, CBC News, St. John's.
We see Mark Quinn there at the Confederation Building, short sleeves, blue sky, lots of sunshine.
Really, really nice.
Yeah.
As you can see, this is not Ryan.
Hi.
Welcome back, Carolyn.
Thanks. It's great to be back. And what great weather
Yes.
to return to. Today was lovely for sure. And guess what? Tomorrow is going to be great as well.
Oh, we like it.
Let's have a look. I'm going to start with some current temperatures just to show you, even at this hour, we're still looking at double digits on the island. Much cooler, though, in Labrador, especially along the coast, and it's going to stay that way. Here's the picture for overnight tonight. Some temperature drops on the island and some showers moving in the west and tracking east overnight tonight. Not significant amounts there, but it should clear off by the morning, and then things are looking really, really nice on the island. Some nice warm temperatures there, cooler and onshore winds along the coast. For Labrador, they're looking at flurries in the west, some showers in the east, and a mix of both in between. Here's the picture for tomorrow. 20 degrees for central Newfoundland tomorrow. Just fantastic. 17 for St. John's. As I mentioned, cooler along the coastline here. For Labrador, quite a difference in temperatures between the island and Labrador for sure. And unfortunately, all of this cold air is bound for the island on Wednesday. I'll have details about that temperature drop coming up.
CBC NL will join Shallow Youth Choir in celebrating 25 years with Our Culture Sings Gala on Friday, June 1st. Hosted by Tom Power, the event will include an evening of fabulous performances with dinner by Todd Perrin and the Mallard Cottage crew. For more information, check out the CBC NL community page. Well, we have new details tonight on how the federal government will clean up the Manolis L shipwreck. The government says the leaking wreck will be cleaned up by this summer. Here now's Garrett Barry reports on how that will happen.
You won't see this anymore, divers checking out the leaky Manolis L. Instead, the Coast Guard is upgrading, bringing in a remote-operated vehicle to suck all the oil out.
When you look at the wreck, it's very close to blowhard rock, and we're just concerned about, especially when we start the pumping and removing oil, we would rather use the ROV operation rather than have divers involved.
The Manolis L sunk in Notre Dame Bay in 1985. It was carrying newsprint and about 550 tons of oil. The vast majority has already escaped from the boat. The Coast Guard will use the hot tap method to get at what's left.
Drill a hole in, and then there would be a disc that would drop down inside, and then the oil can flow out through the line without getting into the environment and go to our storage tanks on deck. When you look at this type of wreck and you look at the different, oil recovery operation that has taken place in the world, this is what they use to remove the oil.
While contractor Ardent Global works, the Coast Guard will be monitoring. It will have more than 10 vessels and a helicopter ready for any emergencies. For the Manolis L Citizens Committee, it's finally getting real.
We're just a small committee that is a representative of everybody. And there's just a sense of relief that finally that it's getting done, and a sense of relief that somebody's putting the problems of a small place like this as a priority with the federal government. Not always seen that way.
The next step for the Coast Guard will be to get its people out closer to the wreck site and get them ready to respond. Alongside all those boats and all their crew, government's also going to need about 50 people here on land to help run this 6-week operation. Garrett Barry, CBC News, Doolinggate.
The Placentia Lift Bridge opened for a few hours today. Workers jerry-rigged a fix for a broken cable reel. The bridge has been unable to move since April the 30th, and a new replacement reel isn't due for about a month. The 2-year-old $50 million bridge ran into problems last year too. Then it was stuck in the lift position.
Another abandoned St. John's building could soon be torn down. The province is trimming its assets and says it has no use for the former Grace Hospital nursing residents. This less than a month after CBC aired a story about a business owner and residents in the area who say the building is an eyesore. Today, government said it will soon begin hazmat and property assessments. That will determine if the property can be sold and if the building can be torn down.
A father in Nain says health authorities gambled with his young son's life by not calling for an emergency medical evacuation. Derek McLean's 16-month-old son Bryson has tuberculosis. He was treated at the Janeway this spring and then he was sent home. But on Friday, he showed symptoms that fluid might be building in his brain. Poor weather prevented an air ambulance from flying Bryson out until Sunday. But Derek McLean says a search and rescue helicopter should have been called in.
The chopper, the search and rescue chopper, I know they can fly in kind of horrific weather, and I don't understand why they're taking such a gamble with his life, because if the fluid builds up and then he gets into a critical condition, God only knows how long he has, right?
Well, Bryson is now doing well at the hospital in Happy Valley Goose Bay. The Labrador-Grenfell Health Authority could not comment on specific cases.
In Europe, they have like strong legislation where department stores, supermarkets are not allowed to throw their food. But in Canada, we don't have such legislation.
Budding entrepreneurs with a penchant for social change gathered in St. John's this weekend. Memorial University's Social Innovation Challenge saw entrepreneurs pitch their ideas to a team of business professionals. Cash prizes and mentorships were on the line. A 20-year-old university student and his team's idea for food sustainability came out on top. Green Space was awarded $1,500 in cash and $2,000 in business support.
So Green Space is a social enterprise that constructs low-cost urban farms from recycled materials in order to address the food security issues that our province is having right now. It's unreal. This is going to go a long way towards our business, especially in terms of the additional prizes. It addresses several of the issues that we were having going forward, and it will help us make impact faster, and that's what we're hoping to do.
Bronze masks to commemorate the First World War. What's Alan Hawko's and Mark Critch's connection to this project? Stay tuned to find out.
Welcome back to Here and Now. There is a battle brewing over access to oil production information for the Sea Rose FPSO. It relates to a 10-day period in January when operations were suspended over the handling of a near miss with an iceberg. Now, Husky Energy is going to federal court to keep those production numbers off limits. Rob Antle has the details.
The Offshore Petroleum Board made the announcement in January, ordering operations to shut down on the Sea Rose because it wasn't happy about what happened back in March of 2017. An iceberg came within 180 meters of the Sea Rose FPSO, less than the length of 2 soccer fields. 84 people were aboard. They were told to brace for impact. 10 months later, the Offshore Petroleum Board suspended operations on the Sea Rose for 10 days until the board was satisfied that Husky had taken appropriate action on safety issues. CBC used accessed information to ask the Petroleum Board for daily oil production numbers for that time frame, to gauge the impact of the suspension, to see when oil stopped flowing. The board was going to release that information, but Husky said no, it's confidential, and went to court to keep it that way. As for the suspension, the board says it can't get into specifics, but it was satisfied with the actions taken by the company in that controlled shutdown for the Sea Rose. The board believes it's in the public interest for data like this to be released and may look at other ways to make that happen. Rob Antle, CBC News, St. John's.
A project to honor Newfoundlanders in the Great War got a big boost from some famous faces. Mark Critch, Alan Hocko, and Chef Todd Perrin lend their mugs to a project that will bronze the faces of 100 descendants of those involved in the First World War. Here's a bit of Alan Hocko explaining his interest in getting involved in this project.
All right, on your chin. An honor to be a part of Morgan's work and to be here, that's first of all, and then second of all, you know, the First World War and its impact on us as a province, and I think on all of us personally as citizens, it's always been something of importance to me. So to be attached to something that's going to be a forever monument that is connected to one of my descendants and that I can somehow do, it's kind of a dream come true. Mark Critch and I did a documentary about this with CBC called The Trail of the Caribou, and on our journey we discovered that my ancestor, Walter Green, who's my great uncle on my father's side, fought, and I always heard the stories about Walter and how distinguished he was. He won the Distinguished Medal of Conduct in Gallipoli and went on to make it through the Battle of Beaumont Hamel. He was a part of the scout team that kind of brought the bad news to the Allied forces that the Germans were not decimated, that they were laying in wait and they shouldn't go. He got injured in that. He ended up dying in Goudecourt. When Mark and I were doing that documentary, we discovered that his great-great-uncle and my great-great-uncle signed up together, the best friends, did the whole journey together, ultimately died together, and we discovered while we were doing the documentary that they were buried side by side. And I had been to Walter's grave 2 times previous and didn't know that Mark's J.J. Tobin was right next to Walter's. So it was a very emotional thing, and this feels like a nice cap on that whole kind of journey that Mark and I are doing this together. It's cool.
Okay.
On your forehead,
Close your eyes. Okay. And don't laugh. Whoa, I'm going to get you to hold on to that straw.
Hold on to the straw. There you go.
Just ahead, the CBC's Chrissy Holmes, you sees there, talks to the maker of the masks while getting her own face captured for eternity. You don't have to wait that long, though. It's coming up in 20 minutes.
CBC is about to shine a light on healthcare in our province. Critical Condition will look at some of the problems with timely access to quality healthcare, as well as some possible solutions. And we want your involvement. Ramona Deering is with me now. A very big topic,
Indeed.
Ramona. What issues is the series going to tackle?
So many, but let me give you just one example to start with here. Let's talk about knee replacements. There is a national benchmark of 6 months to get your knee replaced once that's deemed necessary. Right now in this province, 1 in 3 people has to wait more than 6 months. So that's just one of the types of issues that we can bring up here. There's so much to talk about.
Indeed, it sounds like, as I said, such a large issue. You're looking for people to get involved, our viewers, listeners.
Yes.
How can the audience get involved?
We would love to hear so many things from people in the audience. Are they waiting longer than they think is necessary for access to things like even making an appointment with a GP or seeing a specialist, tests and scans, therapies, that sort of thing? Any ideas, Debbie, on how to make our healthcare system in Newfoundland and Labrador better? If people are finding that they are getting the services that they need from our healthcare system in the way that they want, so excellent care happening quickly, tell us about it. Like, tell us where it's working. That would be so great. And it's really easily done. We've got an email address set up so people can get in touch with us. That includes healthcare professionals, and they can get in touch with us on the record or off the record. It's simply mystory@cbc.ca.
Thanks so much, Ramona, and we certainly look forward to this important series.
Thank you, Debbie.
And the Critical Condition series will culminate in a public forum at the end of the month. That'll be hosted by Ramona and me, and everybody is welcome to attend. That's on Thursday, May 31st at the Bruno Centre on Munn's campus. The forum starts at 6:30, and some of it will be broadcast live on Here and Now. Sean Fitzpatrick made an amazing bird discovery lately. Did this exotic creature get here by accident? Was it blown off course? We'll try to answer those questions next.
Welcome back, everyone.
Well, Ryan's not here today, as you can see, but a viewer did post a video that was shot during his weather forecast on Friday night. Just have a look at this.
More sun and cloud by the mid to late afternoon time period at the very latest.
You can hear Ryan in the background as this hungry moose munches on the foliage there.
Listening to every single word that Ryan is giving out there. Completely oblivious to the fact that someone is actually
That's
there
somebody's
we go.
shrub. This
Yeah.
is not good, Mr. Moose.
Right outside the window.
So big thanks to Debbie Sakry in Corner Brook for sending that in to us. Every Friday I tune in to hear Ryan's weather.
Well, as I mentioned a bit earlier, things are looking great again for tomorrow, but then we're looking at a bit of a change as the week persists. So let's have a look at our weather on the way headlines. So yes, sunshine continues for the island for Tuesday, a mix of sun and cloud for most areas. Labrador looking at a mix of flurries and showers tomorrow. And then Wednesday, we're looking at a temperature drop. So here's the highs today. Hotspot, you can see Deer Lake Lassie at 18 degrees. Quite a difference though in coastal Labrador, -1 as the high in Nain today. So overnight tonight, temperatures will be dipping down and you can see some showers will be tracking from west to east across the island. Nothing really major, but everyone should see a little bit of a taste of it. It'll be brief and it'll be fairly light. You can see the winds are still fairly strong on the west coast of the island overnight tonight. Some showers in southeastern Labrador as well. So looking ahead to tomorrow, all of these showers start to clear off and then we're looking at a lovely day on the island and nice temperatures, cooler in those onshore winds, some fog patches in the morning along the south coast. And Labrador, though, is looking at a pretty messy day. Some flurries in the west and some showers in the east. But look at these temperatures. Isn't this great for the island? 20 degrees for central areas with sunshine, 17 for St. John's, and chance of some showers early in the morning, but things should clear off for the coast. And winds will also be a little bit milder tomorrow than they were today in the east. Labrador, pretty messy day tomorrow. Flurries in the west, and you can see the temperature rising slightly in the east, and that's where those showers will continue throughout the day. And then Tuesday night, that's when we're going to be hit with some pretty wet weather. You can see the whole island is going to get a taste of the rain coming overnight Tuesday into Wednesday morning. About 5 to 10 millimeters expected for most areas overnight. Could be more in some spots, and then along the northern peninsula could even see a little spurt of snow overnight, but that won't last very long. Then we're looking at some cool temperatures for Wednesday, and also then we'll be seeing some rain on Thursday. I'll have more details in the long range coming up.
Paul Davis has stepped down as opposition leader. Ches Crosby may have won the election to replace Davis, but he still doesn't hold a seat in the House of Assembly. So who will fill that role? Here now's Megan McCabe joins us live from our newsroom with more. Megan?
Yes, Davis says that the time has come and he's wanted to step down as leader for a while. After all, he did say ages ago that he wanted out and the party elected a new leader, just not one with a seat in the House. A couple weeks ago, Davis raised questions about harassment in the Liberal caucus that took down 2 cabinet ministers. So politically, it could be seen as a high note to end his lengthy leadership on.
The Honourable, the Leader of the Official Opposition.
Mr. Speaker. Conception Bay East Bell Island MHA David Brazel is taking over the role. He'll lead the PCs in the House of Assembly through the end of this session. And it's not clear when Party Leader Ches Crosby, who is not an elected MHA, will get a chance to go for a seat. Over the past week, Davis made his intentions clear to the caucus, and Crosby asked Brazel to take over.
I'm honoured that Ches and the caucus have offered to me, and I look forward to doing it. I mean, obviously the first day is your first tentative day and see how it goes, but you know, I'm looking forward to it. I'm a team player. I want to serve the caucus and serve the party and serve the leader.
Ches Crosby has very quickly become a full participant outside of the House in our decision-making process, doing a great job, brings good dynamic, it brings his own background and experience. And I thought, you know, it's a good time now to change it up.
So Megan, will Paul Davis be staying on as an MHA?
He absolutely will, and he says that he has no plans to step down before the next election. So in the meantime, Ches Crosby continues to lead the party outside the House of Assembly. And Crosby says he accepts Davis's decision, but he would have liked for Davis to stay on a little longer.
Part of it is personal, and part of it is also, you know, me having arrived there and being there for 2 weeks. I think people were getting at home with me being in the room and developing a sense of confidence about my presence, so that might be part of it.
You get the sense that the PCs are trying to show people they're different, united, and amping up for next year's election. Anthony?
This is what every birder dreams of, spotting a rare bird like this colorful beauty. It's an American purple gallinule, and bird watchers located it on the Waterford River in St. John's. Now, normally, you'd find this creature in Mexico, Central America, or parts of the southern U.S., not here. So how did it end up here in the Northeast Atlantic, and can it actually survive? Well, I met up with the man, an almost giddy kind of character, who was able to photograph and videotape this odd bird. Now, over the weekend, you got an important tip. Tell me about that.
On Saturday morning, I got an alert on my cell phone that there was a purple gallinule after being sighted down on the Waterford River, but nobody knew where it was yet. So a lot of birders appeared looking for this bird. They spread out along the river, and within a half an hour, somebody had found the bird. Immediately, everybody packed up their gear and flew to that location.
For those of us who aren't birders, how big a deal is this bird, this creature?
This bird is big. Yeah, this is purple gallinule is a bird that'll be found in Brazil, places like that.
So when you look through the lens of this magnificent piece of equipment and you realize that you had this bird in your sights, what was your heart rate?
Oh, pounding. Yeah, like, wow, okay.
How significant a sighting is this?
The word that I heard from a well-seasoned birder, John Wells, who's been birding since 1969, he told me, this is the first time that he's seen the purple gallinule. So, and this is a fellow that sees pretty much all the big finds that come up.
Right. So would this bird have been swept off course or something? How would it end up here?
This bird would have either flown in. Recently, there was a fairly good influx of great egrets. Big white birds with long white necks on them, you know, a white bird, beautiful. But there were a lot of them, and although we do get them from time to time, there was an unusual good number of them from strong south-flowing or southwest-flowing winds, I guess, carried it up here. I'm thinking it either came in on that with those with that group, and or it came in on one of the cargo ships not far from here, just down in the harbor.
Okay, so there's different possibilities. Last question for you. It's beautiful weather these days. What's the chance this thing's going to survive a Newfoundland winter?
Probably not good that it'll survive a Newfoundland winter, although we've had some good surprises here. You know, warblers that we've managed to see live through the winter. And down in a place like in the valley here like that, I mean, if it got down into one of these cuts where the water is narrow in a place where it can root out and forage, it could possibly happen, but it's not likely. Not likely that it would make it. I mean, a few years ago they had to take a bird and put it on Air Canada and fly it back, and we've had puffins flown from out west down here to Newfoundland, so who knows, maybe somebody will be stepping up to pop this one on a first-class flight back to Brazil. Maybe I'd like to go along with it, right?
Maybe a certain airline will say if you get so many tweets, it'll fly the bird back someplace.
Ah, yeah, right. It's all good.
Well, listen, congratulations on a big find, and thanks for telling me about it.
Thank you.
Yeah, so it's quite a little creature.
It's beautiful, beautiful colors, and I'm just wondering about its song. Does it match the plumage?
Excellent question. Well, let's. I'll let you and our viewers be the judge. So we're going to actually take a look at this creature once again, and here it goes. It looks better than it sounds.
That's the sound of confusion.
What the heck am I doing here? Yeah.
It's distinctive. You're a great mimic. Can you do that? No.
I don't know, but I'll have to work on that. But yeah, sort of. That's what happens. You know, I went to sleep in Mexico and I woke up in Newfoundland.
Poor thing.
Anyway.
I hope it survives.
It's a gorgeous
somehow.
animal.
let's face it, Newfoundland is incredible.
Anthony Bourdain has come and gone, so what happens now?
We're going to explore the Bourdain effect and the trend of food tourism next.
Welcome back to Here and Now. Well, many were glued to their TV screens last night or programmed their PVRs for the much anticipated episode of Anthony Bourdain's Parts Unknown. The hour-long CNN show was shot here in Newfoundland and showed the celebrity chef experience a mix of local food and experiences.
Wow, it's good.
Moose meat, best meat, #1 meat in the world. I've said for years that moose meat is the best meat. The champagne of animal protein.
Yeah, this is amazing. Don't even mind the rain anymore.
And many didn't seem to mind that Bourdain struggled with the pronunciation of Newfoundland. Melissa Royal on Twitter turned the other cheek. She says the episode made her want to visit Newfoundland, and she's already here. Newfoundlander Darlene Mitchell, a restaurant owner in Toronto, says she couldn't wait to get home from work to watch. Well done, guys. Travel writer Candace Walsh says she's a fan of the show and loved that Bourdain came to visit, but says the episode could have used a fact checker. The show did have an immediate impact online. Google Trends showed the search term Newfoundland spike last night as the show aired. Emma Waverman is a food columnist and blogger. Her writing is featured in publications like the Globe and Mail, Canadian Living, Canadian Family, as well as Food and Drink. And she is a food columnist for CBC Radio, joining us now from Toronto. So Emma, what did you think of last night's show?
I thought it was great. I thought it really showed a high and low cuisine of Newfoundland and a little bit of the people, the beautiful landscapes, and some of the great food that you can have. What did you think?
What I thought was, I know why he's the culinary bad boy, given all the swearing that had to be beeped out.
Yeah. It was definitely a bromance going on, especially at the moose hunting part.
Definitely. Now, a major food publication in the U.S. called Skift has coined the term the Bourdain effect. What can you tell us about that?
Well, the Bourdain effect is how food is starting to drive tourism. So culinary tourism or food tourism, it means that more people are looking at food experiences that they can have as they travel and maybe looking at that as a reason to go somewhere. And they think that Bourdain has had a bit of an effect on how people view food in the countries they travel to. So instead of just going to the obvious places that the concierge might point you to, they're looking for something that's more immersive, that gives them a better view of the culture and the people of the place that they're visiting.
Certainly saw a lot of positive reaction after the show last night on social media. And his show, that CNN show, has about 10 million viewers. So what is the potential for an uptick in tourism here?
Well, I wish that I could give you some hard numbers, but there aren't really. What I can say is that there's been about a 10% uptick in how people spend their money while they travel. So that means that more people are spending more money on food while they travel. And something like Parts Unknown is somewhere that people definitely look to when they're planning a trip. So maybe they saw Newfoundland or they heard some buzzy things about it, and they might even go to the website. So I think that the effects last longer than just the one show. I hope they do, and I know that from chefs I've spoken to here in Toronto that certainly having Anthony Bourdain say your name and say that you're a great chef has helped their business and has increased the number of people searching and looking for them. And another thing we know is that more people were searching Newfoundland last night on Google while the show was on, so we definitely saw a big up on Google for searches.
And Emma, what would you suggest to different restaurants here, different tourism destinations around this province? What would you suggest they do to take full advantage of all this publicity Anthony Bourdain has brought?
I think that they have to not look at it as sort of a one-time deal. Like, he went to the Big R, which is sort of off the beaten track, or maybe not if you live in St. John's, but for people outside. So they definitely would want to put that on their website. Anthony Bourdain ate here and loved it, maybe put it in the window. That to sort of get a longer tail from being on the show is definitely to keep promoting it yourself so that when people search Anthony Bourdain and Newfoundland, that your name comes up. And I think that people have been chefs and restaurants are generally pretty savvy about what to do. So I think you're going to have more lineups there for the Jigs dinner.
That sounds pretty good to many people here. Yeah. As they do say in this province, because we are difficult to get to, there are very few accidental tourists.
Right.
I guess people are just hoping this is going to nudge some people into planning a visit.
Well, I feel like for Newfoundland, it's sort of having a moment. I mean, we've got the show Come From Away. Definitely had Anthony Bourdain there, and he loved it, and he's been tweeting about it. So if people have it's been at the back of their minds, maybe all these things together are going to convince them to travel. I know that I'm looking forward to coming with my family one day soon.
Well, we'd like to read your assessment of your visit here.
Well, it certainly looked delicious.
Emma Waverman, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
So, Anthony, we mentioned the Google search numbers. How did the province's tourism website do? 207% spike in visitors to Newfoundland. Newfoundland L at rate.
Oh yeah, NewfoundlandLabrador.com.
Oh my goodness,
yeah, it's a big
I'm
one.
trying to read that and it wasn't clear to me. So Newfoundland and Labrador.com during the show's airing.
Right, and compared to the same time period the week before, to keep those comparisons legit, NewfoundlandLabrador.com also saw a lift during the 2 hours before the show aired, as well as a lift in the hour after the show aired. So, as Oscar Wilde said, there's no such thing as bad publicity or words to that effect. Just ahead, our Chrissy Holmes gets her face cast in a bronze mask as she tells us about the process and learn more about honoring those who served in the First World War.
It is time now to meet our young athlete of the day. Ian Snook is 6 years old and lives in Gander.
And Ian's been playing hockey with Gander Minor Hockey for 3 years, and he'll be headed to the novice level in the fall. Congrats.
And when he isn't on the ice, he's also enjoys swimming lessons, baseball, soccer, and golf. So congratulations, Ian.
Busy guy.
And tomorrow will be a great day to do some outdoor things.
Okay, good.
If you can, get it in tomorrow, because then things will be cooling off on Wednesday. So let's have a look at how things are shaping up for tomorrow. We have some great temperatures in store, as I mentioned a little earlier. Here's a quick recap. 17 degrees as the high tomorrow for St. John's, 20 for central areas, a little cooler along the coast there with those onshore winds. Labrador, looking at some flurries in the west and some showers in the east here, so much cooler in Labrador, and a lot of that cold air will be heading our way on Wednesday. But for Tuesday night, we're looking at some rain for the island. Mostly everyone on the island will be seeing this rain at some point overnight Tuesday into Wednesday morning. Possibility even of some flurries there on the northern peninsula. For the eastern part of the island, Wednesday morning we could still see some of those flurries, but then it should clear off as the day continues. And then what a difference in temperatures we're looking at for Wednesday. Much cooler. We're back down to the single digits. Mix of sun and cloud for most areas, those morning showers for the east. So we're looking at the mid-range for the single digits and just around the freezing mark for most of Labrador on Wednesday. As we move into Thursday, here's a look at some of the wind gusts. Winds won't be too much of a factor, but we are seeing another system that will be moving in on Thursday. We're looking at some showers there, periods of rain. Looks like maybe even a chance of flurries there on Thursday. Temperatures still hovering in the single digits, 10 degrees for central areas. So periods of rain for the island and more flurries there for Labrador on Thursday afternoon. And as we head into the weekend, it's still early, so things can change, but so far we're looking at a nice Friday night. And as we head into Saturday, things look pretty quiet and pretty calm as we move into Sunday, and then we'll be seeing another system move in there. So here's your temperatures for the next 7 days. So Thursday, we're looking at rain across the board on the island, then some sunshine, and Sunday we could see more rain and start to the work week, some sunshine there. And for Labrador, a nice spurt of sunshine Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday for Happy Valley Goose Bay. So not looking too bad there.
Thanks, Carolyn. Well, our next story, it's about something kind of interesting, especially for people who are interested in the history of this province and the First World War. It's called 100 Portraits of the Great War. Sculptor Morgan MacDonald is making bronze castings of people's faces.
But not just anyone's faces. MacDonald is trying to gather descendants of the First World War from this province, including the St. John's Morning Show's co-host Chrissy Holmes. Chrissy's great-grandfather, Thomas J. Connors, was one of the first 500.
It's been about 3 years in the making. It's been, I guess, a labor of love trying to do something different in the memory of Newfoundland Regiment and, of course, Royal Naval Reserve and, the Newfoundland Expeditionary Force in the First World War. So I guess just as an artist, I wanted to do something a bit outside the box, a bit unique and different for people to see. At the core of the idea is that each of these life masks is a direct descendant of either a soldier or a sailor in the First World War that fought with the Newfoundland forces. So the idea is, through the years of, I've done a lot of work with the Newfoundland Regiment and creating monuments and sculptures around the province. But one of the things that it always came back to was, the people that are here today that remember their, whether it's their great uncle or great grandfather, and even in some of the rare cases with the participants, their father. So those are some pretty moving stories, and people to this day, it still affects them very deeply. But one of the iconic images of the First World War that I know a lot of people will be familiar with, is the oval frame pictures of the soldiers. So that's what this is coming back to and making reference to is the design of those old photos that when these soldiers signed up and joined the war effort, they had these photos taken of them, just prior to going off to war. So that's really one of the iconic characteristics, kind of the design elements that I'm borrowing and trying to make reference to with the descendants. So in essence, the design, once it's finished, is to have 100 of these portraits in an oval frame, much like the soldiers themselves would have had 100 years ago.
Okay.
On your forehead,
Close your eyes. Okay. And don't lie. Whoa. I'm going to get you to hold on to that straw.
Hold on to the straw. There you go. Because the alginate's going to run over the straw. So you'll feel that kind of that goo kind of run over your face. Then it'll be probably 10 minutes. Then it'll set. Good, good. And then we're going to take some plaster bandages. If you've ever broken your arm or anything, it's just plaster cast, and that goes over the top of that, and it'll be another 10-15 minutes. That'll set, and then once that sets, the whole thing comes off. 1, 2, 3.
At first, I didn't realize, I'm not claustrophobic or didn't think I was,
Yeah.
until I realized that the nose was plugged.
Yeah.
And then I realized, oh, what if I have to cough? And then it started playing in my head, and then my thoughts created reality. And then I had to cough.
Take the wax, it'll coat the inside of the mold, wait for it to cool a little bit, do another coat, and I'll build it so that's probably 1/4 inch thick, same thickness as the mass out there. So once the wax cools, I'll take the mold, the alginate, the plaster, peel that off the wax, throw it in the garbage so you don't get to use it again, and then it's the wax casting that we'll keep, and then that's what we use to make another mold, which the bronze is poured into.
It is weird looking at yourself a little bit.
What an amazing project.
Yeah, a little bit claustrophobic though.
I think I would be.
Have a
I
hard time with it?
definitely would be. But the end result, maybe it's worth it.
It's going to be quite stunning, and of course we don't know where it's all going to be assembled yet, so it'll be quite interesting to see where that work of art actually ends up. Canadian actress Margot Kidder has died. Kidder had a long acting career, but it was her role as Lois Lane in the 1978 version of Superman with Christopher Reeve that rocketed her to stardom.
Sorry, did you have plans this evening?
Oh, this is the whole thing. No.
Well, listen, it's no trouble at all for you to come back later.
Don't move. Sure you can move. Just don't fly away, all right?
She was born in Yellowknife but grew up in Vancouver before moving to Toronto to pursue her acting career. She also spent time as a young person in Labrador City. Kidder had a public battle with bipolar disorder for years, and during that struggle, she was briefly homeless in 1996. Kidder was at her home in Montana when she passed away, according to a spokesperson. The cause of her death is still unknown. She is survived by her daughter. Margot Kidder was 69 years old.
Well, seeing as we showed you that moose video earlier in the show, I figured I'd keep with that theme for the viewer photo of the day. I'll let you know where this photo was taken after the break.
All right, wind down the show with something novel, to say the least. Parents know that there can be big pressure to deliver on your kid's birthday for sure.
But one Bonavista mom had a particularly tough task thanks to an odd request from her daughter.
5-year-old Grace Hookey wanted the theme of her birthday to be based around her favorite food, which happens to be salt meat. Kind of a strange request. The Sunday dinner staple even inspired Grace's cake. That's her cake right there.
Well, whoever made the cake, Mom, presumably, what a job. Of course, it isn't actually a bucket of beef. It just looks like one Grace's class had a potluck party and used old beef buckets as decorations. Definitely, she's a Newfoundlander.
Yeah, proud one at that. So, Grace, pretty cool cake. I've never seen a salt beef cake. There's probably more sugar than salt in that thing.
I would think.
But happy birthday, Grace.
Yeah, happy birthday.
So cool. Well, before we go, I just wanted to show you where that viewer photo of the day was taken. Any guesses where this could possibly be?
Anywhere.
Anywhere, pretty much, for sure. But it was taken on the Bonavista Peninsula in Chance Cove. So, yeah, I want to thank Sherry Adams for sending that in. My banner isn't coming up there for some reason, but yes, Sherry Adams posted this on the Facebook page. So lovely.
They're just sort of trying to crash a boil up or something there?
Yeah,
Like
it looks like
there's
it.
a fire there, right?
It looks like a fire there.
And what a calm night, too.
Nice scene.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thanks so much for that.
Absolutely.
And thanks, everyone, for being here tonight. And we'll see you all tomorrow.
Good night.
See you then.